Okay. Hello, hello.
So so I'm a really obscure YouTuber called Mr. Pink and Yellow. I make men's rights content and pro male content, which is yeah. And I've got another political channel as well, but called Owning Dishonest Shills. But I haven't posted that in months. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm here.
Cool. Like, I'm really looking forward to this stream because it
Yeah.
is in a way it's a premiere for me. It's the first time that basically I don't have to worry about what the stream is going to be about. Basically,
Yeah.
you asked me to have this conversation, so
Yes.
I can basically like kind of relax and just let you guide us uh,
Right.
through the
Cool. Cool. So,
session.
right. So I want to talk about. He still uses this. I do think his concept's a bit clumsy, but I do think it's generally correct. He City Crusher goes, incel
Wait,
just means
so,
shut
sorry,
up or
so,
whatever.
so,
He's got
sorry. I said that I was going to let you guide through it, but maybe just to
yeah.
uh, for if someone hasn't seen our interaction before in the comment section, maybe just give us a little bit of a background as to why we're having
Right.
this conversation. That would be great.
Okay. So basically, you had a conversation with a City Crusher, and basically there was a. I think if I remember correctly, you didn't like generalizations against women, right? And there's lots of speaking in absolute terms as well between you two, like women are this, no, women are this, no, women are not this, when it's a sliding scale, right? Like females do have certain traits, but it's not absolute on and off. Like, do women love men? It's not a yes or no question. It's a spectrum, right? It's not an absolute. It's not binary. Okay, and men and women have similarities, but they're very different as well in their psychology. There are some differences, and you can actually generalize about that. So yeah. So I want to clear this up. Dick Crusher's got a saying. He says, "Incel just means shut up." Right? He's
Sure,
got that,
sure.
and he was arguing against that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just as a quick like in one sentence. So basically, I've had a conversation with the YouTuber City Crusher, who's an MRA,
Yeah.
men's rights activist,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
there have been a couple of points we've talked about. You can watch the full
Yeah.
conversation on my YouTube channel. It's still there.
Yes.
Lately, a lot of my stuff is being taken down, including clips of my conversation with Turbo Blackpill. So that's really unfortunate.
Right.
But yeah, so but that one's
Right.
still online, so you can still watch it if you haven't. And the thing is, so
Right.
basically, you've had a couple of problems about what I was talking about with City Crusher, and
Yeah.
I think your first
Yeah.
contention right now is that we have talked about basically we've talked about woman, man, and woman in very general terms,
Yeah.
and you disagree that
Yes.
it's not possible to have a conversation on that level, correct?
Well, no, no. I, people. Like, the problem is people don't want to generalize about things. Everyone generalizes. Okay. There's two types of people. There's people who generalize, and there's people who object to generalization, but they still generalize anyway. We all generalize in conversations because you have to on a macro level. Okay. So anyway, if I remember correctly, you objected to some of the generalizations he was making, right? So it was
Maybe we can just
basically
go point by
female.
point. What do you think? We could just
Yeah.
go point by point. So the first point
Yeah.
was that I've actually rewatched it after for the first time after
Right.
I did the interview. I rewatched it today, and so the first
Yes.
topic we got heated about was the term incel. I asked him what
Yeah.
to him the word incel means, and his
Yes.
response was man who doesn't know his place. And
Yes, that's it. Men
so
who need to shut up, basically. That's what it.
yes,
So I don't disagree with the concept of what he's got there, but he's doing it in a very clumsy way. He's explaining it in a very clumsy way. Incel is it's used as a disparagement term to invalidate someone and basically point at them and go, what they're saying is invalid. They're an incel, right? It's a thought terminating cliche,
sure, but it's not only
right?
used in that sense, right? So because
No,
like
that's not. That's
at that point
sorry, you go ahead.
at that point I was basically I don't know in my third or fourth interview in terms like about the
Yeah.
topic black pill and incels, and like basically no one, literally no one I had talked to at that point was using it in the way that City Crusher has described, or in the way that you described, or in the way that in online politics this word is being used like as an insult or something. Like no, like there is a genuine community that is actually using the word, like, and there is also even a scientific community that is actually using the word in its actual meaning.
Okay.
And even City
Okay.
Crusher,
Okay. Okay.
and even City
Yes.
Crusher, just one last thing, sorry. So even
Yeah.
City Crusher, even he is not using it always in that sense of the word. Like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
using it as the actual meaning of the word. And the reason why I
Okay.
was asking him about this was just to understand if he thinks that incels are just people that can't get laid or that can't find a romantic partner, or if he thinks that
Yes.
incels are actually have to adhere to a certain ideology. I was trying to make that difference, but then it completely got derailed because he was insisting
Yes.
that it's just the insult, and that seems very, very
Right.
strange to me.
Right.
Like I don't even know
Okay.
why
So
he would like.
okay.
Yeah.
So this is my understanding of the term incel, right? How it's evolved. So there's a descriptive term, right? A man who can't find a romantic partner. Okay. Okay. And there's the ideological term. Okay. So there's incels. It's using the term, oh, you can't get a girlfriend or a wife, or it's an ideology, right? They're not. There's overlap, but they're not exactly the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so
So
but there is
there's
actually three, right? So there is the insult, there
yes,
is the ideology, black pill ideology, and
yes,
then there is also
yes,
just the descriptive man who can't find a
yes.
romantic partner, right? So there's basically three.
So in my opinion, the descriptive term for a man who can't find a romantic partner, there's a problem with that term, is because I think the default state for most men, the vast majority of men, is inceldom, because I think romantic success is linked to status for the most part. Okay,
I,
so the only difference between an incel in a lot of situations, the only difference between an incel and a non-incel is status. So Elon Musk, if Elon Musk was unemployed, right, he wouldn't have 11 kids right now. So he'd be sexless and an incel. If he was poor, unemployed, without a job, and he had the same personality, he had the same physical appearance, right? Okay, he would be sexless. But because he's a billionaire, he's got 11 different kids with different women,
but do you see
right?
how right now you're already locked in into one definition of incel, which is the first one, which is the descriptive one. So if we would
Yeah.
use the other definition, which would be adhering to black pill ideology, then Elon Musk, it wouldn't matter, his status wouldn't even matter if he's an incel or not, because it would just, the only thing that would matter would be what's going on in his mind, right?
No, don't black pills don't black. From what I know, black pillars believe in looksism, right?
I mean whatever it is, like but
Yeah,
let's say I believe, let's say I think that incel, being an incel, doesn't only mean not getting laid or not getting a romantic partner. It actually means being blackpilled. Like if
right. Yeah,
incel actually means being blackpilled, and that has nothing to do with the amount of romantic partners. Also, someone with a lot of romantic partners could be an incel, and also Elon Musk could be an incel, no matter the status or no matter what it is. So that's a really important. That's why I was so insistent in finding out what his definition was. But let me
right,
just make one point more clear, which I think I didn't do well enough, like in the last 10 minutes. So I think that his definition is especially bad because
right,
basically his definition is using the insult as a definition, whereas
right.
even the people using the insult are referring to the actual definition.
Right.
So when you say you're a pig, then it is not, the insult is not a definition in and of itself. It's referring to something that is actually there. Or if you're saying a retard, or like something like, or you say something's gay, you know, like in an insulting way, like you're always referring
Right.
to the actual definition. So him using the insult, like the insult meaning of something, as the actual
Yes.
definition makes absolutely no sense whatsoever in any world. Like, and I don't
Okay.
think that's even contentious. Like whatever your ideology is, whatever your worldview is, it's just simple
All right.
logic, like that
Right.
would
Okay.
not
So
allow you to. Sorry, yeah,
there's 2 points I have to address.
yeah.
If incel means just a black pillar, right? I call them ideological incels. I don't call them black pillars, but if you want to call them black pillars, that's fine. If it just means a black pillar and it doesn't matter what your romantic success is and it's your mindset, I actually reject that. usage of the
Sure.
term because it becomes meaningless.
Sure,
It's
that's
too
fine.
watered down.
Sure,
It's too
that's
watered down.
totally
Look,
that's totally
the
fine to
thing is
reject that.
from my point of view, because I've been in incel forums, I've studied them, I've studied the ideology, right? There is ideological incels, right? Now let's get to City Crusher's thing. City Crusher, his definition of incels wrong, but he was describing a real phenomenon. The term incel being used as a thought-terminating cliche to marginalize people and shut them up. Because I've seen people called incel when they're married, right? Or they've got
Sure.
girlfriends, right? They're sexually successful and they're still called misogynistic incels,
Yeah,
right?
just like people are human beings, just like human beings are being called pigs, and heterosexual people
Yeah,
are called gay, right? Like that's just like
right.
yeah,
Yes. But the thing is, it's an insult. It's actually quite an effective insult against men because men feel a sense of shame over being low status and being sexless because there's life goals a lot of men have. They think by this certain age I have to have a girlfriend, I've got to have sex, I can't be a virgin anymore, right? I've got to be dating women, and they don't achieve that. A lot of men feel like a failure, and a lot of them are very insecure about it.
sure,
So
sure,
people go after that because it's a vulnerability. They go, "Oh, you're an
yeah, yeah.
incel."
No, I agree,
Yes,
100%. But
yes,
like the issue that I have, like the real issue that I actually have, is that basically City Crusher is being like when he's not sticking to one definition, it allows him to say a lot of things that seem to make sense because in the background he's operating on multiple different definitions. So when he's constructing certain sentences, they only make sense if you employ multiple different definitions of the word. So in order to have them make sense and in order to not have them conflict and in order to, if there is a conflict, in order to find that out, I was trying to find out a definition. So, and it seems like, and he was not willing to give like a meaningful definition in any way. So, but it seems like, as far as I understand you, and we can go really, if you want, like it's an interesting topic, and I don't think actually we disagree that much. Like we can go into the term, but I feel like just in terms of my disagreement with City Crusher, you're completely on my side here. That it's a meaning, that his definition is a meaningless definition, right?
I wouldn't say it's meaningless. I think his definition is very clumsy, but there's truth to what he's saying, right?
Like
So I can't reject it 100%.
if I would say like if I would ask you what is a pig, and you would say like a
Yeah,
perverted old man,
yeah, that's not. Yeah,
like
can I use a better analogy? Can I use a better analogy? Because I think there's a better
sure,
one. The term Marxist, right? Because there's Marxists, there's left wingers who are Marxists, okay, right? And a lot of right wingers will call a left winger a Marxist when they're not even a Marxist at all. They're like liberal, right?
sure,
Or they're
sure.
left wingers are still capitalists. A lot of right wingers will conflate Marxists with liberals,
or or
right?
or, or,
So
or yeah, I mean like or just like in my childhood, I'm a kid of the early 2000s, and in my
yes,
childhood gay was like that, and in my childhood the
yes,
definition of gay was basically like the way it was mostly used was if you're not courageous enough to do something, then you're gay.
yes,
So, but if
yes,
somebody asks me what is gay, I can't say like a guy that doesn't jump from this high down the stairs. I don't know, like who's not courageous enough. So you agree with me that his definition doesn't make any sense, right? Like
it's not it's not perfect, but again, it does.
I
He's
think you're
correcting
being
that.
a little
He's
bit
correcting
too
how
fair
you
to
think.
him.
Right. Well, I can't. It's you. I do think it was very clumsy, and I don't think he should use it that way. I agree with you, but there was a truth to what he was saying. It's used as a fault-terminating cliche and an invalidation tactic.
But
Okay,
it
and
being used in the way that he's describing it doesn't make it less nonsensical that he thinks that's the definition,
all right, okay,
right?
all right. All right, I can agree with that.